Hello, hello. It is a sunny Sunday morning, and I recently downloaded a game on my phone called Pokemon Go, basically just to get some childhood nostalgia. Not really someone who would be able to catch them all, but hey, it's nice to have something to run for besides, well, just for the exercise of it. Anyways, this is my time for today. Let's see. It is a 9:28, which was a pretty substantial improvement from yesterday, which I'm quite happy about. Hopefully tomorrow I get a PR for the month, and we'll see what happens there. But anyways, on the topic of video games, honestly, I definitely remember kind of growing up with them for a pretty big majority of my life. I didn't really start off with any of the big mainstream titles, but I do remember starting with like some educational video games like on consoles. Like I think I had like a leapfrog pad or something like that, but I definitely remember enjoying it a lot because it was not only like a time where I could just kind of learn things that I probably have already learned from school, but also kind of learned it in a way that made it pretty fun, honestly. And then eventually my family got a Nintendo Wii, and for myself a Nintendo DS. And honestly, I remember playing a bunch of multiplayer games with basically my cousins and my siblings as well, particularly Mario Party and Wii Sports. And honestly, those were pretty fun times. Also, I definitely have now a bias towards like Nintendo video games and stuff because I kind of mainly grew up on those. But on the topic of that, I eventually got my first single player game, or at least one of my very first ones. It was Pokemon Heart Gold, and I remember actually having a really fun time with it because coincidentally it was actually around my 10th birthday when I got the game. And basically, basically you started off as a 10-year-old kid who was basically traveling around the world, kind of seeing what there is to offer, and I really enjoyed the adventure that the game kind of brought to me, and because of that, now 10 years later, I basically still have like a pretty big enjoyment of like role-playing games or RPGs, simply because like there's always an adventure kind of like that you kind of have to explore with the world around you, and so many people that you can meet, basically kind of like more of an expansion of like what I imagined from anime on like a greater depth of level. And because I really was more preferential to like role-playing games or RPGs, I never really had that many people to really talk to about it because I was pretty shy about it, especially considering that I was basically getting into it at a time where in high school most people would probably expect you to kind of outgrow it in a way. Though this sentiment isn't necessarily true as I got to know more people. I still really actually had the opportunity to kind of talk about my favorite games with other people. So probably like about university where I eventually started talking to my roommate about like kind of games I really enjoyed growing up and games I would have loved to play. But now I kind of see the value of being able to play with other people because you're kind of enjoying like their company, and you're also enjoying like the time that you have together and like the game that you're playing as well. And so I'm definitely currently debating right now if I should get probably one of the greatest multiplayer games of all time, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, though. Currently, they do have a community where they're pretty much going through some pretty tough times, especially now. But I'll save that for another video and my opinions on that pretty soon, so stick around for that. And I will see you later.